before, I have to acknowledge that MUET is actually a different platform from SPM. So whatever achievement we have in SPM, it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll do the same in MUET. So my tips are, first is to engage ourselves in wide reading. Because the more we read, the more ideas we have, and the more we are updated with the current issues. So that will be very important during our writing and our speaking, because content is very important. Alright, my second advice is don't get complacent with whatever we have achieved in the past. Writing a very good essay during SPM doesn't necessarily equal to a band 5 or 6 in MUET. So whenever we come to MUET, we still have to improve our skills, we have to do practices in order to maintain our level of competency in this language. My third advice is to polish our thinking skills so that we may think critically in a single topic. Instead of scratching the surface, we will have to analyze problems and cases or scenarios given by the MUET questions in order to write efficiently or to speak up during the speaking test with more content. And that's all.
I just want to say that, just like Eugenius, I just like to clarify this one little myth that everyone has been saying. So ever since I got into metrics, actually, everyone else has been saying that this band 6 thing is actually like a threshold where no one can ever reach. And then they said that this college, there's never been a person who is able to get a band 6. So this myth has been revolving around everywhere I go. So the thing is that I want to say to all the juniors who are probably watching this video soon, don't believe in any of it. Just believe in yourself. Because at the end of the day, I think that getting a band 6 is your own effort. It's not everyone else's. So don't believe in just mere rumors, because it's not just that everyone says you can't do it, then you can't do it. No, it doesn't mean that way. So if you believe you can do it, then you can do it. But of course, given the confidence as well, you still need to practice. In terms of practice, I actually recommend my juniors to actually read up more, because I like to read a lot actually during my young age, especially English. And also, as in terms of writing, I actually like to write a lot of stories when I was back in my secondary school days, because I think it's a very good way to actually help hone my creativity skills. Like, it really helps in all those kinds of situations where you are supposed to come out with ideas out of the box in terms of MUET. And also for reading, because it's a comprehension question, so I encourage all of you to actually brush up your vocabulary. So it's very important, because vocab is what determines a person's competency actually sometimes, but of course not to forget the grammar. So that I think that's all from me. So just be vigilant, just be strong with your own beliefs, and also practice. That's it.
For me, I think it's quite simple. You just have to practice. Practice makes perfect. During my preparation, all I did was I prepared with those other who is going to take MUET as me. So I just practice with them, practice speaking, task A, task B in front of them, and listen to their comments, improve yourself from there. And everyone is born differently, and not everyone is perfect. So the only thing that differentiates us is our own effort that takes us towards that success. And one more thing is to believe in your lecturers, believe in their guides, and follow them through, and you'll be fine at the very end.
I think first and foremost, make sure you don't underestimate your lecturers. That's a very important thing, is to make sure that you really pay attention when you're teaching, especially English. When you come to matriculation, you'll find that a lot of the subjects are very fast-paced, a lot of the subjects are very jam-packed, and the temptation to just brush off things like English and focus on your subjects like chemistry, your maths, and whatnot is very high. But make sure you don't forget about your MUET, because your MUET's important. And trust me when I say, and I think all of these people have already said it, MUET is very difficult to score in, because it's a whole other ball game compared to SPM. Alright, SPM is very, it's more simple than MUET. part and parcel. There are a lot of reasons I've heard from lecturers, which I'll not get into, of why it might be more difficult. But it's definitely more difficult. Make sure you also focus on your writing, specifically your task A, because that's where a lot of people who are very proficient in grammar and very proficient in their vocabulary tend to fall, because they can get a bit creative with format writing. It's just format writing, so make sure you listen to your lecturers and how they teach you to write, especially in your part A. And last but not least, don't be scared of English. I think this is very good advice for everything, including your other subjects as well. Don't be scared of it. If you have a prejudice against that language coming to matriculation, or if you have a prejudice against your chemistry or your maths, for example, it will be very hard for you to actually be able to focus on it and apply yourself in it. So forget that, people will laugh at you or whatnot if you're weaker in the language. Just focus on getting yourself better at it, because at the end of the day, getting a band 6 also translates to you getting better in English, and that means better as a speaker, and that means the way you communicate with other people improves as well. So think of it that way. It's less of an academic thing and it's more of an investment for your life. Yeah, that's all.
You have to put full trust into our lecturers as much as we trust ourselves. So having self-confidence is actually having half of the success of scoring in MUET. We have to cooperate with our lecturers very well also, and appreciate them, because they are the ones who actually give us all the information, and
That's right.
just the confidence also to engage ourselves in this MUET arena. So my point is, I'm very thankful for whatever my lecturers have done for me, and I wish that all the juniors will pay attention to the lecturers more in this journey of scoring in MUET.
Action speaks louder than words, because actually during this 1 year in matrics, a lot of people actually told me that they wanted me to help them somehow in their English for MUET, but then at the end of the day they never really approached me, except for some of them.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's actually an important thing, because if you really want to improve your English, then you should take actually some drastic and practical measures, because it's your choice, it's your life to live, it's your decision to make. So no one else can change your opinions if you don't let them. So in this context, I think that if you want to improve your English, don't just keep it in your mouth saying that I want to improve my English. Do it instead. Go look for someone, your lecturers preferably, and ask them, what can you do to improve your English? Ask your friends who are actually more proficient in their English what you can do to actually improve your vocab, your grammar, or anything related to MUET. Yeah.
You have to be proactive to find like he said, to find friends and lecturers for help. And for me, I write some of the essays of the past years, then I give it to my lecturers for her to evaluate and give me comments so I can improve from there. So basically you have to be proactive and do it, and don't just put it as just a thought.
If you find it hard to find time to read, or you find it hard to find good material to read, there's always the Reader's Digest books that you can order, which would help with your English. But if you really don't have the time here to just for leisure reading, right, you could also spend time listening to more English songs, or do what I do, which is I like to watch a lot of English television. That's where I actually do also learn quite a lot of new words and whatnot. Of course, everything in moderation. Don't get addicted to what you do in your free time, which also includes leisure reading. But I find that at least if you're listening to podcasts or just listening to the radio, it's great to also listen to how they speak English, listen to how they communicate, because they're trained to do that. They are radio people after all, and that's also great because you can walk around and listen to music whenever you have to. So yeah.